Conventional firearms from GURPS Ultratech is one of the most contentious GURPS topics ever. You will hear many different opinions. Some people believe that Ultratech guns are too weak, but some will say that they are too strong. You have probably heard many horror stories about them. In my opinion, criticism is over-exaggerated. Things here are bad, but not that bad. So in this video I would like to give you an overview of these weapons. First, we have conventional and ETC guns. These appear before TL9, but since this is the Ultratech book, they start at TL9. And if you compare the numbers with those found in GURPS High-Tech, you'll find that many of the TL9 weapons here are actually worse than their older counterparts. I guess that's because Ultratech was written before GURPS High-Tech. Then I think there's something off about LC here. Storm Rifle, Anti-Material Rifle and Payload Rifle deal extreme amounts of damage compared to the armor values for these LC. I suggest moving the Storm Rifle and Anti-Material Rifle to LC2 and the Payload Rifle to LC1. Most of the TL9 conventional slug throwers are assumed to use caseless ammunition, but some few use plastic cases or preloaded barrels. The description of preloaded barrels mentions extreme rates of fire that nullify recoil, but Ultratech was written before High-Tech, where the rules for high cyclic control bursts first appeared. However, there is a blog post that backports these rules to GURPS Ultratech. It is linked in the description. Let's take a look at the ammunition table. I have seen people ask what the letters mean, so let's decipher them. CLP is caseless pistol, CL is caseless, CLR is caseless rifle, PC is plastic casing, PLB is preloaded barrel. Now, about the stats being too low. This problem was partially handled by Douglas Cole, who is an expert on ballistics. He has an interesting post series on his blog called Gun Day, where he redesigns conventional firearms. I will link them all. But that's the guns that use the standard propellant. We have 3 additional options. It is not said anywhere in the book, but I asked people who know better than me, and they told me that both the gun and ammunition are made for a specific propellant in mind, so you cannot load ETC bullets into standard propellant guns. The first propellant option is liquid propellant. Liquid propellant guns require a propellant bottle that must be reloaded separately. Their ammunition is smaller, meaning that they get a 50% increase in their shot statistic. You can also vary the velocity of the round. You can fire standard rounds, low velocity rounds and boosted velocity rounds. Boosted velocity rounds deal +1 per die damage and have increased range, but count as 1.5 shots for the purpose of draining the propellant bottle. Low velocity rounds deal half damage, have halved range, but are quiet. Each shot counts as 1/4 of a shot for the purpose of draining the propellant bottle. This becomes a nightmare to track in the game. The second propellant option is Electrothermal Chemical, also known as ETC. Just like liquid propellant, ETC is available for small arms at TL9. In addition to ammunition, they require a power cell that must be reloaded separately. That can be a hassle to track in-game too. Remember that every weapon, including beam weapons, has an internal B cell that powers its electronics, and that Gatling weapons have an additional power cell to power the rotation. Still, it's probably easier to track than liquid propellant. As written in the book, ETC guns have 1.5 times damage and range of normal guns. This is where things get ridiculous, as even without using Douglas Cole's improved weapons, we get extraordinarily high damage values that outpower both armor and any beam weapons of that TL. David Polver suggests in one of his forum posts to reduce ETC damage and range modifiers to 1.25, effectively giving them +1 per die of damage. This makes things much more manageable. He also suggested boosted ETC with a 1.4 modifier, but I'm not sure what that's supposed to mean. The third propellant option is the infamous Electrothermal Kinetic, also known as ETK. This propellant option was introduced by David Polver in his GURPS Ultratech Designer's Notes. ETK slug throwers appear at TL10, and they get double the damage, double the range, plus the small ammo and variability settings for liquid propellant guns. They also have additional accuracy and require a power cell. This is ridiculously broken, again outclassing every other TL10 weapon and most TL11 weapons as well, and even some TL12 weapons, making armor useless as a side effect. David Polver himself pretty much admitted this to being a mistake, suggesting to reduce the damage and range modifier to 1.6. Personally, I do things a little bit differently. I treat the nerfed ETC with a 1.25 modifier as ETC at TL9, and I treat ETC as written in GURPS Ultratech as TL10 ETK. This works perfectly fine for me, keeping TL10 ETK guns in line with electromagnetic guns and beam weapons. Also, isn't this super science? I do not see the super science symbol in the article. Also, what I found off about the boosted and lowered velocities and propellants in general is that damage is changed, but it does not affect strength or recoil. Weird. If you feel that Ultratech is not enough, there is additional conventional firearms started up in Pyramid 337. Forgot to mention that conventional firearms do not work well in space. However, they can be made space-proof, using the rules from page 7 of Pyramid 355. Speaking of space guns, there are also recoilless guns that compensate the recoil with either a dangerous backblast or cold plastic flakes. Recoilless rifles in the 4th edition only exist in the table at the back of GURPS Transhuman Space Changing Times, and these ones have cold backblast. Obviously, recoilless ammunition is not appropriate for normal guns and vice versa. Guns also do not work too well underwater, but at TL10 they can use actively stabilized supercavitating bullets from page 8 of Pyramid 326. What I like about Ultratech guns is that they do not become obsolete on higher TLs. I ran some number tests and found out that ETC guns that use TL11 ammo do very well against TL11 and even TL12 armor, but this only applies to LC1, that is military grade ammunition and weapons. If you want to read my post on this topic, there is a link in the description. Finally, before ending this video, I would like to say that for my own games I created a much bigger weapons table with much more varied guns. They incorporate all the house rules and fixes I mentioned in this video, and so far they have been working very well for me. I will share the Google Doc link in the description. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.